Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, the Buffalo Chip is looking to expand operations into Nevada. We'll tell you about their plans. Plus, we'll show you what's happening at Western Dakota Tech after their new president was selected last month. We'll tell you about the local trends for gun cases involving illegal guns. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cottle. 230 illegally possessed guns were taken off the streets of South Dakota in federal cases last year. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley spoke with a supervisory assistant United States attorney for South Dakota and has our report.
According to federal prosecutors, 230 seizures is about average for the area. However, during my interview, we learned about the trends with illegal gun cases in South Dakota. About 35 to 40% of seizures of illegally possessed guns wrapped up in federal cases last year were in the Rapid City area.
About that same number were seized out of our Sioux Falls area, and about the rest of the firearms seized were seized in smaller communities throughout the state.
Supervisory Assistant United States Attorney Ben Patterson pointed to two current trends with illegal gun possession. The first being guns with machine gun conversion devices, which enable people to convert semi-automatic rifles and pistols into fully automatic guns.
Those firearms are particularly dangerous. They can fire dozens of rounds in mere seconds.
Another trend highlighted by Patterson are guns tied to drug trafficking, used as both protection and currency.
It's not unusual that we're recovering a dozen or so firearms because that's how, they're taking them in as trade for drugs, and they're also giving them out as exchange for drugs or currency to be able to continue moving those drugs into South Dakota.
Patterson expanding on concerns surrounding drug cases.
The trend that we're seeing with methamphetamine use, fentanyl use, cocaine, those types of cases are particularly dangerous to our community because not only are they involving firearms for currency or for protection, but they're also bringing illicit substances into our communities and really harming the community as a whole. So that's a real focus of our office.
112 people were charged in illegal gun cases last year. The U.S. Attorney's Office crediting a host of law enforcement agencies on the cases, from federal police to state, local, and tribal departments. In Rapid City, Blake Trolley, KOTA Territory News.
Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking a few storms on First Alert Doppler radar. So who is getting the rain? I tell you, we got a nice little shot of rain out there this morning around here.
We did, yeah. Some nice rainfall, a little bit of hail for those communities between Rapid City and Sturgis. But for us here in Rapid City, things are pretty dry. You do notice some of those cumulus clouds off towards the horizon there. But we are going to be having a few showers and thunderstorms for those in the southern hills. And we're noticing that right now on our First Alert Doppler radar. You can see one of those storms just south of Weston County, north of Lance Creek, well north of Lusk. Just severe warned there off west of Fall River County. We do have a few of those storms for between Hot Springs and Custer, with Hot Springs getting a nice rainfall right now. That's taking temperatures with the rain from Custer down to 62 degrees. It says 88 in Hot Springs. Wouldn't be surprised if that rain-cooled air took temperatures down to the 70s at least. But for the rest of us, we're looking at 80s and even some 90s into northwest South Dakota. Overnight tonight, we will stay mild in the 60s again, a stray storm possible. And for tomorrow, we'll climb back up only into the 70s. So it's a nice break from the heat if you're not a fan of it, but it does get hot for the weekend. I'll talk about that coming up.
Thank you, David. 32-year-old Jeremiah Stange appeared in court today to plead guilty to charges relating to fires in Custer County. The structure and wildland fires occurred during August and September of last year. Stange entered a plea of guilty but mentally ill to 6 felony counts, a combination of second-degree arson and reckless burning. He's scheduled for sentencing on August 28th. Stange is facing up to 60 years in prison and $120,000 in fines. The only technical institute in western South Dakota is opening a new chapter in its 55-year history after naming Dr. Kendra Erickson as its new president last month. Erickson's new role as Western Dakota Technical College's 10th president comes after the death of former president Dr. Ann Bowman last September. Before arriving at WDT, Erickson served the last 5 years as the president of St. Luke's College in Iowa. Prior to that, she was the director of nursing education at LeTourneau University in Longview, Texas, as well as spending 7 years at Des Moines Area Community College in Iowa. With Western Dakota Tech looking ahead to the fall semester, Erickson said they're up 24% in enrollment from last year.
We attribute that to the great success and work of our admissions team, but also it shows what our needs are in the community and that individuals are now connecting with us for those career-focused programs.
Arson says her grand vision for the school is to continue to provide excellent career-focused education as it currently sits with a 99% placement rate. She adds the leadership team as well as faculty and staff will be conducting more strategic initiatives around new programming offering that the school needs. A Montana-based real estate company has made its mission to bring affordable housing across the U.S., including Rapid City. Today, Blue Line Development held a grand opening for the Sagebrush Flats. The complex provides 180 affordable housing units and is located over the intersection between Campbell and Omaha Streets. Sagebrush Flats joins Discovery Village off of Anamosa Street, is one of several affordable housing projects the company has helped bring to town. The flats vary from 1 to 3 bedroom units with rent set from a little more than $1,000 to $1,400.
The city as well as the building permit process, it's just, we really like working in Rapid City and we know that there's a need for housing here. It's been a good relationship for the last 2 projects we've done and we hope to continue to do more in Rapid City or the broader area.
Mason said the city provided a funding opportunity for Sagebrush Flats with the Black Hills Area Community Foundation, providing a little more than $1 million. She adds it was incredible to see the reaction from people moving into their new units.
It's a nice moment to come full circle after all these years of hard work and all the hoops we jumped through to make these projects go from concept to reality.
Only individuals and families who earn 60% or less of Rapid City's median income are eligible to reside in the complex. Anyone interested in leasing at Sagebrush Flats can visit KOTATV.com. The Sturgis Buffalo Chip is expanding its footprint into Nevada. In an announcement today, the Buffalo Chip says it's partnering with Advent Creations for a project in southern Nevada. According to a release, the project includes the 200-room Buffalo Chip Casino Hotel, a barn-themed casino, a 10,000-seat amphitheater, the live music venue Woody's Barn, tiny homes Bikini Beach, and a replica of the Big Engine bar that you've seen in Sturgis. Now, the release only says southern Nevada for the location. We're told they cannot reveal the exact spot yet. The partnership is also announcing the Sturgis Buffalo Chip Roadhouse, which they describe as a spirited collection of restaurants and bars designed to bring the same ethos, character, and energy to towns and cities across America. Another big thunderstorm this morning in KOTA territory. What's in store for us tonight and tomorrow? We'll let you know in your accurate first alert forecast coming up later. But first, we'll highlight a local effort to return buffalo to tribal lands. That's up next in this week's KOTA Cares. In this week's KOTA Cares, we're highlighting the Tonka Fund and its mission to return the buffalo to native lands and communities. Jasmine Davis has more on their efforts to restore buffalo into school programs.
Buffalo is a sacred relative in native culture, one central to food, clothing, and tradition. Since 2014, Tonka Fund has supported native buffalo caregivers through animals, grants, and resources across all U.S.-based tribes. Now they are working with other organizations to bring buffalo meat back into school programs, reviving native food practices and reconnecting youth to their culture.
When you bring the buffalo back into the schools, it becomes a daily part of life again. Not only are you eating it and improving the nutrition, you're also bringing life back in to your spirit.
Efforts to bring the buffalo back aren't just happening on ranches. They are gaining momentum in schools too. More educators and communities are recognizing the cultural and nutritional value the buffalo brings to native youth.
Today, we're seeing like an increase of native ranchers and even schools actively seeking out ways to bring buffalo back, and whether it's starting their own buffalo herd or integrating it into their cultural programs.
A group of newspaper editors from around the world are holding their annual conference this year in Brookings and Sioux Falls. Today's event includes discovering downtown and addressing a hot topic. Beth Warden introduces us to the participants.
At the State Theater, it was an immigration forum, and there were many questions asked about what's going on in the U.S.
They can become our next doctors, nurses, engineers.
We've got members all across the globe.
The common goal is to understand immigration in the U.S. better.
It's the annual conference of the International Society of Weekly Newspaper Editors.
Presenters are all Sioux Falls community members, sharing their own history and thoughts on current immigration.
These are human folks that are choosing to better their lives, just like our grandparents did. Just like my great-grandmother came from Norway when she was 9 years old, our immigrant and refugee populations are exactly like her.
Moses Idris was in a refugee camp as a child. After several years of vetting overseas, his family received permission to move here. He dispels the myth of immigrants looking for a handout.
If they had the way, they would just start working right away and start contributing to the community.
He made time to start a soccer group for kids while balancing work and university.
We have supported over 200 kids by now.
Hugo Barron arrived with his parents as a teen, and he enjoys his life as a social worker in Sioux Falls. A discrepancy in his wife's paperwork from her childhood forced her to move out of the country until it's resolved. Now he's supporting 2 households and raising his daughter in the U.S. alone. He remains positive.
Families who have it worse than we do, who have 2-3 kids.
Even if money is tight, he refuses to apply for assistance.
I will not. You don't add it as a supplementary way of bringing cash in.
The panelists believe that immigrants can make a positive impact in a community, including economically.
You don't need political sides to know what is the right thing to do. You can use your moral compass.
In Sioux Falls, Beth Warden, Dakota News Now.
Chief Meteorologist David Stradling says Friday will be much cooler. How long will the summer heat stay away? The details are in your accurate First Alert forecast next.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Stradling.
Even with those morning storms, temperatures are quite warm for many of us. In KOTA territory, you're noticing 80s for much of Wyoming, 90 on the dot for Newcastle with 90s in northwest South Dakota, even Mud Butte there. We were 85 out of the Rapid City Airport. Temperatures a little bit cooler towards Custer, 62 degrees right now with that rain-cooled air. Hot Springs at 88. I had a viewer that sent me a message and said it's actually down closer towards 72 degrees right now with that rain-cooled air. We're 74 at Mount Rushmore, 84 at Sheridan Lake, and 88 downtown Rapid City. Here's a look at that storm towards the southern hills. You can really see those cumulonimbus clouds in the southern Black Hills and some sunshine just beyond that. What we're watching for on First Alert Doppler radar are a couple of storms from Custer to Fall River County and into eastern portions of Wyoming. So this storm will continue to drop southward as we make our way throughout the evening hours. So Hot Springs, you got a couple more moderate to heavy shots of rain moving in from the north as we go throughout the rest of the evening. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, but it is not in KOTA territory, northern Niobrara County, north of Lusk, north of Lance Creek there. That's going to continue to move south and does not pose a threat to us here in KOTA territory at this time. Our hour forecast will bring another couple of showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder overnight and into the morning hours. A broad area of showers will be passing through KOTA territory on Friday, maybe a few rumbles of thunder too, but conditions are going to clear out and lead to a lot of sunshine for us as we make our way throughout the day on Saturday. So for tomorrow, we'll have a high temperature of 72. Going to feel much cooler than what it has been the past few days. 72 will come with a breeze. Some wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour throughout the afternoon. We'll have a partly to mostly cloudy sky with more clouds in the morning, clearing throughout the afternoon, and those isolated showers and storms. For tomorrow, we will have that wind. It'll be increasing overnight tonight. Wind gusts anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour for northeast Wyoming. Similar to South Dakota, but a few of those gusts in the morning hours could range 40 to 45 miles per hour in some spots. And then those winds will slowly start to weaken as we make our way through the later afternoon and evening hours Friday into Friday evening. Our weekend's going to be warming up quite quickly. 86 on Saturday, so only one day of cooler weather tomorrow at 72 before we climb back up to 94 degrees. Well, plenty of sunshine both days. It's going to be getting warmer and those temperatures are going to be hot into Monday as well. But for tonight, we'll be falling down into the 50s and 60s. A stray storm, shower or storm will be possible. It'll be breezy as we go late overnight tonight and into the morning hours. We'll keep the wind around for much of the morning and middle of the day on Friday, but it'll certainly slowly weaken, though it will stay a bit breezy at times. Our temperatures are going to be in the 60s and 70s tomorrow, warming back up to the 80s and 90s over the weekend. So you'll notice the hottest air will be towards Sheridan near 90 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday, 90s into Sunday for Gillette and Spearfish. Deadwood, just shy of that at 86 degrees, but it's still going to be quite warm. We'll be in the 90s again on Monday with a few afternoon storms. Cooler air will be moving back into KOTA territory Tuesday and Wednesday. A couple of storms Tuesday, a high of only 69 on Wednesday, but we'll hit those temperatures back up into the 80s towards the end of next week.
It's going to feel downright chilly tomorrow.
Yeah, 72 degrees and a bit breezy. We're used to these 80s and 90s, but I'm ready for a little break from the heat. I'm not going to complain.
All right. Thank you, David. Well, still to come in sports, here why the Rapid City Rush president chose to hire Dave Smith as the new head coach. And the Sasquatch is trying to stay hot and complete the sweep of the Bison. Noah Miller has that and more in KOTA Sports.
Welcome into KOTA Sports. There's a lot of information in this show that you won't want to miss. So get ready for 3 minutes of pure entertainment. Yesterday, the Rush introduced Dave Smith as their new head coach. That's old news. The new news is this. Dave Smith is bringing his knowledge and expertise to Rapid City. Some might even say there's a new standard. And yesterday I said that's something I felt during the introduction and talking to Smith during media availability. Getting a new head coach is a huge step and going in the right direction. Here's what the Rush president, Jared Reed, said about Smith.
Dave brings a level of professionalism and just the way he carries himself and the way he's carried himself throughout his entire career, whether it was playing or coaching as well. You know, he understands it's more than just putting wins on the ice and trophies and banners up in the rafters. You know, the expectations here from a coaching standpoint and a player standpoint is we will be connected with all our fans, all of our partners and you know, charities that we work with here in the community, and he is front and center, right? He is the face of our franchise.
And taking a look at Dave Smith's resume here, he has 27 years of coaching experience at the Division I level with stints at Miami, Ohio, Bowling Green, Mercyhurst, Canisius, and RPI. He also coached former NFL forward Corey Conacher and NHL defenseman Kevin Biska with other NHL names. Dave was also the Atlantic Hockey League Coach of the Year in 2016-17. As a player, he won the Turner Cup with the Fort Wayne Comets and scored a total of 324 points during his playing career. Smith brings tons of experience to this Rush team and has tons to teach the guys on this team. The South Dakota State Little League Tournament is taking place this weekend, and Harney Little League played on Tuesday but lost and had to wait to see who they played tonight. Canyon Lake Little League played Sioux Falls Little League last night and lost, making it an elimination game tonight versus Canyon Lake and Harney. I will have scores later on tonight at 10. And the Sasquatch wrap up their 4-game series tonight with the Bison Baseball Club. The Sasquatch are looking to sweep the Bison as they've dominated the last 3 games, outscoring the Bison 38-11. The Sasquatch hold a record of 26-11, which gets them first place in the Independence League standings. That game takes place here in a little bit at 6:05. Post 22 18U got a big win last night against Sturgis. Post 33 Missiles 14-0 and take on the Carpetland Rugs tomorrow in a morning game bright and early at 9 a.m. And the Twins played the Cubs earlier today and things didn't go right for the Twins today. Cody Clemens helped the Twins out with his 1 hit and 1 RBI, but the Twins offense stalled as they were able to get 4 hits and 1 run. The Cubs dominated today, especially Pete Crow Armstrong. He delivered in a big way for the Cubs. 3 hits, 3 RBI, and 2 home runs. Twins fall 3 games under 500 to 45-48 on the year, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do come the trade deadline.
All right, thank you very much, Noah. We'll be right back. Keeping an eye on storms out there.
Yeah, mainly towards the southern Black Hills. We go to First Alert Doppler radar right now, and you'll notice those mainly down into Custer and Fall River counties. There is one in Stray Butte County, but not really much coming of it as that storm weakens. But here's another round that's going to be moving into Hot Springs very, very soon. And a couple of storms just to the west of Fall River County there in eastern Wyoming. We'll be down to 72 tomorrow. It'll be breezy with a few more showers and storms, but it's drier and hotter this weekend, back into the 80s and 90s.
All right, just 60s one day next week.
Yeah, it's going to feel cool.
All right, that'll do it for us. See you tonight at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.